What you just heard was one of the lead parts from my latest single, On the Brink of Madness, and I'm going to go over 4 different lead parts in this lesson. I'm going to talk about how to play them, but I'll also go into how I wrote them and some of the things that connect these licks together, because there's a lot of similarities between these different licks. So let's get into it. All of these licks can be played on a standard tuned 6-string guitar, so nothing crazy, and the first lick looks like this. This is actually the first thing you hear in this entire song, and it's based around this 7-note pattern. And this is, at its core, a diminished arpeggio. So you have the flat 5, flat 3, and the root. We're in the key of E here, so B flat, G, and E. I'm also sliding up to the natural 5, so you have flat 5, 5, flat 5. This is all coming from the minor blues scale. If you watch my lesson I put out a couple of weeks ago on Dementing the blues scale, I talk about how I took the blues scale and turned it into some crazy prog metal riffs within this song. So this is all coming from that minor blues scale. I'm really just focusing on that diminished arpeggio, as well as the half steps that happen inside of the blues scale. So you can get a handle on this lick, which has all this upsweeping, which is a little bit weird. And combine that with this legato figure, which uses the ring and the pinky. Also kind of tricky. You have that kind of weird thing where you're going between the ring and pinky, which are your weakest fingers, right? Those are really the 2 elements of this lick. So let's take a look at the entire thing slowly. And that repeats twice, and then the second time through, there's a little tag at the end where I'm sweeping down. So until that very last little part, the rest of this is all upsweeping or legato. So work on those 2 elements, and you'll be able to put this together. Here's this entire lick with the tab on screen. Next, I want to jump all the way to the end of the song and check out this lick. So obviously there's a lot of similarities between this lick and the lick at the very beginning of the song, which I just talked about. And it's essentially the exact same lick, but what I'm doing is adjusting it rhythmically to fit over top of this heavy riff that's happening underneath. So there's this heavy, chunky breakdown riff, and I'm putting this lead part over top of it, kind of to tie the whole song together from the beginning and then here at the end of the song. So I kind of adjusted the rhythm at the beginning here. We add in an extra hammer-on and pull-off figure. Now there's 3 instead of 2 to fit into a 4/4 time signature instead of the 4 and 3 that happened in the first lick. And then a shortened lick there. I also don't go up to the higher part, just because it didn't fit over this particular riff underneath. But this is a really nice way to sort of take an idea from earlier, bring it back, make some small adjustments so that it works, but it kind of ties everything together in a really nice, satisfying way. So here's this whole lick slowly. And here it is with the tab on screen. Those first 2 licks were closely related to each other, and these next 2 licks are also going to be closely related to each other. So let's check out this open string lick. So this lick starts in G minor and then modulates to E minor. The riff underneath is first in G minor, and then it goes down to E minor. So what I'm going to do here is to pedal off the G string first, the open G string, and then in the second half, when it's in the key of E, I'm going to pedal off the high E string. So this ramps up the energy because we're starting on the G string and then going up to the high E string when it builds in intensity. And it also matches harmonically with what's happening underneath. So the main pattern here is this. So we have 4 legato notes with a pull off to the open string, and then 2 palm muted open strings. 6-note pattern. If you get a handle on that, you'll basically have the whole technique for this particular lick. It's just about then moving around the higher notes. And I'm starting by playing that flat 5 to 5. Just like in the intro and outro lick, as well as the other lick I'll talk about later, I'm leaning into that flat 5-5 movement. It's kind of a theme throughout a lot of this song. Then I take it up an octave. And these notes here are following the riff underneath. So the riff underneath is going B flat to D flat. So I have B flat, D flat. So this whole first part. Then we do that first part again. And then to move to E minor, we have this chromatic lick. And I'm copying exactly what the rhythm guitar is doing 2 octaves higher. So the rhythm part and the lead part so this whole first part So then this last part's in the key of E minor, and here I'm not palm muting the open strings. I didn't think it sounded as good on the higher string to palm mute it, but it's essentially the same pattern. A few of the high notes are a little bit different, but it's virtually the same. Then we have this kind of tricky alternate picking lick at the very end. And this is designed to once again follow the lick underneath. So this entire lick all put together. And here it is with the tab on screen. This last lead part we're going to look at is by far the hardest of all of these, and it sounds like this. So this last lick happens over the exact same riff that happened underneath the last lick. So we're in the key of G minor first, and then modulating to the key of E minor. But instead of doing the open strings, we're going to do this high economy picked sweep picking arpeggio. The main pattern is based off of this shape. This is a basic minor arpeggio. Here we're in G minor because that's where the lick starts. A shape you'll be familiar with if you've done any kind of sweeping. But what I'm going to do is to add in that flat 5. So once again, we have the flat 5, 5, flat 5, move. In fact, these first 5 notes are the same as the very beginning of the song. Once again, kind of bringing that motif of the flat 5 to 5 into these lead licks. So I go down the minor arpeggio after that. Then I go to the flat 5 again and slide back up and then up the arpeggio. And it makes a circular lick that's 10 notes long. So down, up, down, slide, down, down. And actually the second time it starts on an upstroke because of where it ends. So the second time through is a little bit different. It's up, down, up, down, up, up. So that repeats twice. And if you want to get a handle on this lick, I would actually just repeat this particular part over and over again to get a feel for this arpeggio. And I think I might actually be adding an extra pull-off in there when I start going fast. I'm not sure exactly, but... Definitely a tricky pattern. I think especially that slide on the lower part is really hard to get smoothly and evenly. But after I do that twice, we go to the other shape that happens in this lick, and that's a pick, pull off, up, up. And this is a diminished shape. It's a diminished 7th arpeggio. Actually, it's technically just a diminished arpeggio. It doesn't even have the 7th. So if you get a handle on that first lick and then this lick, you'll have the whole thing. You just got to kind of piece it together. So I use these diminished arpeggios to then modulate down to the key of E minor, and that's kind of following that chromatic part of the riff underneath. And then we go into the exact same lick, but 3 frets down to fit in the key of E minor. There's some different diminished arpeggios. And then to end it off, these are more diminished arpeggios, but played in a different way. And then end with a little scale run. The one last thing missing here is this big scale run that leads into this lick. It looks like this. And that starts you right off with that arpeggio pattern. This is all coming from D Hungarian minor or D double harmonic scale. This is a Phrygian dominant scale with a raised 7th. Or you can think of it as, in this case, G harmonic minor with a raised 4th. And this is all alternate picked. It's really crammed up here on these high frets. It's a pretty tricky scale run to do, especially right into the next arpeggio. So this entire lick slowly. And here it is with the tabs on screen. So there are a few really cool lead licks from my newest single, On the Brink of Madness. If you enjoyed this, go check out the full song. I have a full playthrough video on my channel, as well as some other short videos and some lessons that I've already put out on this song. You can also go to my Bandcamp if you want to support me and pick up the song there. I have tabs available for this song, and it's also available on all your major streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. Links to all of that is in this video's description. I'd recommend learning all of these licks. They're really fun to play, and each one will deal with a different element element from a technical perspective. Those first two are more focused on legato and sweeping. The third one has a lot more alternate picking as well as the open strings. And then the last lick has all of that stuff combined. So you have alternate picking, economy picking and sweep picking. You have slides and legato all mixed into one lick. And if you enjoyed this lesson, subscribe, hit the bell notification, like, comment, share, all of that. And I will see you in the next video. Till then, stay proggy.